Hello, everyone, and this is Karen Sully, and I'm here with Reverend Jane Howard tonight on Fellowships of the Spirits Fireside Chat. And I just wanted to give you a little background around Jane. She's a graduate of the School of Healing and Prophecy in 2010. She served 2 consecutive terms on the executive committee from 2009 to 2014. Jane was originally inspired to visit Lilydale in 2004 when she visited several times and followed guidance to enroll in the spiritual insight training and then enroll in the school. During school years and mentoring years, she lived in Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, and was employed as an activities therapist and a therapeutic crisis intervention trainer. Jane moved to Cassadaga in June 2019 and has volunteered her time and services to Fellowships of the Spirits programming since her move. Being a student is very important to Jane, and she continues to seek teachers and opportunities to explore her spiritual nature. Coming to Lilydale and fellowships to learn about spiritualism, light, love, and grace is a great gift. And we welcome you here tonight, Jane, to give us this week's Fireside Chat.
Thank you, Karen, and good evening, everybody. And welcome to the Fellowships of the Spirit Fireside Chat for this Sunday. What I'd like to talk with you about is, to begin with, other than it's been great weather here the past couple of days, which has been really good. My topic for this evening, though, comes from one statement in 365 Days of the Tao. It's day 333, and it simply says, dismount your donkey at the summit. I'll say that again. Dismount your donkey at the summit. That's all it says. And that was triggered by sitting in a class with Mark on Tuesday evening on the Sermon on the Mount. And he requested at one point that all of those that were attending the class, to be able to meditate for 10 minutes and we would be there. And it doesn't matter how you get there. And that's exactly what this statement is saying in the Tao. It doesn't matter how you get to the summit. It just matters that you get there. There are so many doctrines and methods and ways of meditation and prayer and exercise. There are many, many ways to get that silent mind. And I know that some of us practice doing sutras, others practice following the breath, others practice having a seed mantra or just a 1-syllable word if you're doing centering prayer. And the collective energy at the summit is one of the silences that tends to be the most rich. And I think we've all found that in doing meditations on Zoom, even with classes that we've been taking, because you can feel the energy of everybody who's meditating once we get to that summit. And other places in Lilydale where you experience that, of course, would be the healing temple, because it's all the same energy that's working with the healing process as we go through things. And so all of the healers that are up there are working with the same divine energy that you reach when you get to the summit. So many people will sit in meditation prior to healing, as well as those that are experiencing the healing that day also sit quietly, hopefully, quieting their minds before the healing occurs. Because as your mind is more silent, you're more open to the guidance that is there and to the messages that are there. And so whether you get there with Tao sayings or Zen sayings or mantras or sutras or chants, any number of chants, Gregorian chants for some people get you in that silent space. The Deva Premal chants, Krishna Das chants, Tina Turner chants. There are so many, many different ways that we can reach that silence, sometimes by putting a CD in or putting meditation on the iPhone with an app. However it works, it works. Some people sit out in nature and listen to the birds sing and go into that silence, into that center, into that bliss state. And so as we look at the many, many ways, you know, we keep hearing that no matter what your meditation is, it's your meditation for the day. It's going to be different than yesterday. It'll be different than what you experience tomorrow. And maybe you're using the same donkey, or maybe you're trying a different one and seeing how that goes. And that's fine. You don't necessarily have to go on the same donkey. And the thing is that a lot of times as you're traveling up to that summit on that donkey, you're encountering others along the way, others that may be in a class or in a church service. And, some may say, well, that was a really great meditation. And some will say, well, I really had a hard time settling this time. And that's okay. That's what their donkey did that day to get them to where they needed to go, wherever that was. When my nephew was 8 years old, and I was living about 18 miles from them, and Alex was a swimmer, and his swim coach had all of the swim team sit at the edge of the pool before they dove in for the day, and told them, okay, I just want you to empty all of your thoughts through your hands into that pool water. Everything that happened, over the course of the day. And then she would have them dive in and they could splash and kick and, like anything that may have been frustrating. And so she wanted them in there with a quiet mind, is what she was saying, because the focus, for the swimming would be much different than it would be if people went in there in chaos. And so I said to Alex, because I had started school by then, and so I was meditating twice daily. And I said to him, well, was that easy how did you do that? How did that work? And he says, oh, Aunt Jane, that was easy. And my brother rolled his eyes and said, that's easy for him to say. My brother's also a meditator. And so, we all had our different experiences. And I don't know, Alex is entering law school. I don't know what his meditation practice is now. I know I keep sending him different chants and things like that when he's not feeling so calm. And sometimes he says they work. He likes Dave Uppermouth. So that would be, his way of getting through or cutting through some of the more anxious activity thoughts and things like that that sometimes happen as you're finishing one school and getting ready, preparing for another school. You have a lot on your mind and a lot of racing thoughts. And sometimes those thoughts bubble up here. And sometimes you can just invite them away from you. You can work with whatever it is, like, and say, okay, thank you for that thought. However, go away. And a lot of times they do, because the thoughts know that you're working with finding a way to have a much quieter mind or a silent mind to get into that silent state, to get to that summit, um, and experience some of that divine energy, or as Tom Kratzley would put it, um, love, a love that is from the very heart of God. And also he'll in some of his meditations say all that is, reaching that all that is point is that summit. And when we can do it as a group together, it really is an awesome experience, because there's more people that got to that summit at whatever pace that they got. And I know, at the Healing Temple, having served doing the healing meditations in the morning, um, everybody comes in with different meditation experiences. Some of them have never meditated at all. Some have been meditating for decades, and they all have different methods, different ways, different practices. And we make suggestions for people that haven't done it before. And then we go into whatever we go into for about 20 minutes. And by the time 20 minutes is up, people have reached a different space, a quieter space, a healing space, to open and to receive. And I can tell you that in my own experience, sometimes, you put the wonderful thing about praying in this way is that you're not asking the divine for anything. You're not asking Great Spirit for anything. You're you're just going there to quiet your mind so that you can listen, so that you can hear what's going on. And often at 3 in the morning, I'll hear an answer, or I'll hear a response, or even I heard the voice of someone just a couple of years ago, someone that I was worked with in Philadelphia for a number of years, and he said to me in his very clear voice at about 3 in the morning, "It's too bad that we didn't know how to do this when we were working together." So I called him and I said, "Hey, have you been meditating?" Yeah, he was doing the contemplative prayer thing. So it was really kind of cool because sometimes you reach that quietness at 3 in the morning so that you can get your answers or you can get spirit responses in one way or another. One of the things that I would leave you with is to, to experience things in whatever way that works for you. And if it's my meditations in the evening lately have been sitting on a lawn chair in my yard, um, at dusk, listening to the last of the songbirds for the day and the first of the night music, the tree toads and the frogs in the pond and the owls, that come out and rustling in the bushes behind me. You can hear a lot of life and a lot of different things. And if you're focused on listening to what Elaine says from time to time is the farthest sound away, it makes your mind really quiet when you listen all the way back into the woods where the pond is in the woods to listen to the birds that are out there instead of the birds that are right in front of you. So there are many ways, many, many ways to reach that summit, and we can all be creative and find different ways, um, change it up from time to time. Most of the time it's sutras for me, but every once in a while I really like to listen to that guided imagery that can take me there too. Or, as I said, go out at dusk and sit and listen to things. The one other piece of, and I don't have that book with me. It's called Daily Healing Meditations, and for July 29th, that this is one that sticks with me also, and it also helps me to get into that space. And all it says is, I love these one-liners. Great Spirit, make me a prayer stick for the earth today. And that really focuses and centers as well, because you can stand in the grass and ask to be that prayer stick and get a download for what you can do to either serve the earth or serve people that day. So these are the things that, have been on my mind working with the meditations and making the meditations deeper, and also the connectivity, because when I connect with people from fellowships from different groups. I connect with the course that I'm taking now. There's 6 wonderful ladies that we connect with, and I have a development circle back in Fairport that I still work with, and those 4 ladies are often included. And then there's a group in Philadelphia, and there's also a centering prayer group in Fairport. And so I know that as I meditate and ask to connect with the other energies that are working with healing, I can feel sometimes the energies in that silence that are also meditating at that time, or that are connecting with the idea that I'm meditating. And so it becomes a community process just as much as an individual process. And so that's what I would invite you to do. I often, if I'm meditating sutras, I'll meditate back into this room at Fellowships of the Spirit. And chances are there's somebody else that's projecting themselves in the room as well, whether a class is going on or not, or even projecting up into the healing temple would be another thing. So peace and blessings, and enjoy your meditations, and have a great day.
Thanks, Jane. I know for me, I just recently started to not listen to any podcasts or any music or anything while I walk. And that has made a huge difference. Being aware of nature and the people around me and, connecting with other people. It's not a time for me to cram in more in my brain. And it does make such a difference.
Mhm.
And I love the prayer stick. I'm going to have to check out like one-liners for meditation ideas. That's great. So thank you for joining us. Yeah. And thank you for joining us. And we are here every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we will have another speaker next week. Not sure who it is, but there will be one. So stick with us. And thank you again for joining us.
Okay, yes, thank you.